All right, good morning. At least I think it's morning. It's morning for some of us. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do point perspective for a room. We did a city street last time, so I'm going to show you how to do a room. Room throws off people a little bit in one point perspective. I'm never quite sure where it is. I think they assume that since we're coming out of the middle, the edges are going to go from corner to corner of the paper, and that's not necessarily true. Everything else we drew like a shape, we connected it to a vanishing point. This time we're going to draw a very light vanishing point, and I will put in a horizon line. Alright, but it's going to be very, very light, and that's part of the reason I'm doing this on my good drawing table instead of my drawing table out in the man cave, is because this camera is clearer. So this shape I'm putting around the vanishing point ends up being the back wall, and you will need a straight edge or a ruler to pull this trick off. And I'm not measuring this box so much. I'm not going it has to be 4 inches by 1.5 inches or anything crazy like that, but I am making sure it's straight. And here's the trick: the bigger the box, the smaller the room. And that seems counterintuitive, but you got to remember, if it's farther away, the wall, it's going to be smaller. So, just like things going from the vanishing point. Now here's the trick. We put our ruler on our vanishing point like we did for our other shapes, and we pull away from it. Now you'll notice this line does go to the vanishing point. Boom, 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 right? But it doesn't go to that corner, and that will save you a ton of erasing time later. I'm going to do the same thing all the way around. Oop, hopefully my finger won't get in the way on all the other ones. Boom, 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 boom. Now you don't need a ruler to do this trick. You could take a straight piece of wood, scrap wood, or the edge of a book, or if you had to, another pencil, whatever works for you, whatever you got lying around. I know a lot of people don't have nice, beautiful metal 24-inch rulers that look like I used them to open something I shouldn't have opened. Now you have created 4 planes that are going to a vanishing point, and 1 plane that's just normal. So anything that's on this box is facing you and can be drawn like you would draw anything else you were staring straight at. So if I do this, I can put in a couple of doors. Maybe I'll put in an archway here. Whatever I decide to draw in this as a detail. And just for giggles, we'll come back to that door a little later and I'll show you a trick with that, hopefully. Now, I want to put entranceways or windows on these other walls. How do I go about that? Well, what we learned before is the top of your line has to go to the vanishing point because you're on a vanishing point plane, and the bottom of the line has to go to a vanishing point. Watch. I gotta make sure those are parallel. Boom, boom. I don't look so parallel. Boom, boom. All right. So, top of my line, vanishing point, bottom of my line, vanishing point. Oh yeah. And the other 2 should be straight up and down. Now, the cool part about this, I didn't have to draw that line because I'd already used the floor line, but I want this door to look like it goes inward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a horizontal line and go to my lower left corner of that door, and I'm going to angle it in that way. And because I want there to be wall-to-wall carpeting, or I want the floor to be floor to floor, not have a line, I can erase that. Now that looks like that goes in. I'm going to do the same thing up at the top. Alright? Booyah. Beautiful. Molto belle, as they would say in Italian. Alright? I'll do a window over here, or I'll make a space for a big painting. Top of it will go to the vanishing point. Bottom of it will go to the vanishing point. That's amazing. And then I will go down and down. So I've created another space here. I don't know what I'm going to do with that space yet. I'll just leave that alone for a little while. Maybe there's an aquarium in there. Maybe it's a super fancy house. All right. Now, here's where it's going to get a little tricky. I'm going to do a door that will indicate I have a second floor. But to make my life a whole lot easier, I'm going to put the bottom of that door below the vanishing point. I'm sorry, below the horizon line. And then I'm going to roll up. I'll make the top of the door going to the vanishing point. So both those lines, you can see, go to the vanishing point. All right. The other lines got to connect up. There's one. It's parallel to the wall. This next one's going to get funky. Follow me. It's going to go all the way down and touch the floor. Why? That's madness. It's not that crazy. All right. Here's why it's not that crazy. I'm going to make stairs coming out of here. So I'm going to go out. And I'm going to go down. And I'm going to go out. And I'm going to go down. And I'll go out. Every time you move your ruler, you kind of got to double check it because they do like to change angle on you when you're not looking. Out and down. Out and down. Now, where the wall touches that door line, that's my indicator that the stairs are pushed up against the edge of the wall and flatten on the floor. So I can get rid of this line for a minute. All right. Now, every one of those corners, unfortunately, have to go back to the vanishing point. But I'm going to pay really strict attention to my ruler on that vanishing point for a couple of reasons. I don't want to have to erase a lot. And I know I'll have to make the other side of those stairs in a little bit. So as long as I got my eye here, when I go to draw that line and make sure my ruler's on it, I don't have to draw all my lines to the vanishing point. Though, if it makes you feel better, you could do that. And you got to notice by now, every time I try to move it, it still just wants to fall off the vanishing point. So this is the most frustrating and usually the thing that screws the most people up in point perspective, because you get to this section where you're like, all right, I got this, I get it, it's easy. But then you start going fast because you got it, and everything keeps missing the vanishing point. Okay, so far so good. Now all I have to do is parallel these lines. So if this line is horizontal, this line, that's a really bad horizontal, Vaulato. Sorry, man. I can smell the coffee in the other room, and it's very much distracting me. All right, where this line hits that line going to the vanishing point, that tells us change, right? Because when this line hits this, it goes down. So when this line hits the next line, it comes out at a horizontal, down, horizontal. I hope this looks bigger in the camera. And down, horizontal, and down, horizontal, and down. Now I have a set of stairs that almost function like bleachers that are right in front of that door. All right? So that's basically how you do that. Now that kind of annoys me. So I could change or move my stairs, or I put my door over here. Whoa, super cool. All right, I'm gonna pause it for a second. Okay, now that I got my cup of coffee, and golly, it's warm, we can continue onward. All right, now if you wanted to do an area rug on the floor, you would just connect it to your vanishing point. Boom, boom. depending on how far you want that rug to go, you make your horizontal and you pull your line. All right. So since it's on the floor plane, it's got to go to the vanishing point. But this doesn't have to be an area rug. I could do this little trick where I go down 2 lines, right, off each corner. And I create another frontward facing plane. All right. Now, all I got to do with that plane is connect those edges to the vanishing point. And I have created a bottomless pit or topless hole. Neither one, really. What I've done is I've created an indent in the floor. Now, to get that look like it has water in it, I'm going to mimic a wavy line. I'm also going to mimic a wavy line kind of going to the vanishing point. And now I've got an in-ground pool. All right. Can I put something in that pool? Yeah, I could get funky. The downside of that is I know sharks have to constantly move or they stop breathing. So that shark is dead. But for the sake of the cartoon, the shark's all right. No sharks have been harmed in the filming or the drawing of this picture. Okay, so now that I've created the basis for this, I can do whatever I want. I can put another line here where I show the great outdoors. Boom, boom, top of, since that's a vanishing point plane, both the top and the bottom have to go to the vanishing point, like so. I'm going to assume that there's more building back here, right? And the reason I'm going to assume there's more building back here is because this door has to be going somewhere. So I'm going to first just kind of put the block that becomes the rest of the building. Maybe this leads to outside, maybe this is the back of a garage. And you can kind of see my horizon line in here. So I'm going to continue that out this way. And then maybe, just maybe, I'll put a cactus. Maybe this house with the shark in it's in the middle of the desert. And then I'm going to put a much smaller cactus off in the distance. And the reason I'm doing this is I'm creating the illusion of space organically by following my space rules, right? As I'm creating it also geometrically to anything that is a geometric form. Now, what's wrong with this picture? Well, I can tell you this. There's a lot of dead space up there. I don't know what you want to do with it. You could start to get fancy with it and put an archway like so. Maybe you're going to divide this archway into separate pieces. This is really me going out on a limb because I've never done this as a demo before. But I think I know how it would work. And then that archway would probably connect up to the vanishing point. That one's just going to be straight up and down because it's above the vanishing point. And like this. So when we go to add other arches, we're going to kind of spitball it. We're going to try to kind of basically take that arch and parallel it with the first arch I made and the second half of that arch. And then I'm going to do another arch. Now you don't have to do your room like this, but that space up top was bugging me. And I would probably come back later and thicken some of these up just to make them look like they had more support. they were stronger. All right, now I'm to the point where I'm really just kind of sketching. So there will be some serious comeback in a little while. Where I'm going to take what I've drawn so far and fix it up. All right, and then you have to decide what type of day it is. Is it night? These obviously are going to get whiter as they get farther out. Those you could actually do with the vanishing point and a ruler. All right, so now I got this cool archway. The only thing I got left is I have to decide whether I want to put clouds up there or stars up there, spaceships up there. Do I want to have somewhere in the distance some kind of crazy mountain range? You know, is it out in Arizona? Is it like Moab? Look that up. So there's going to be a lot of rocky, cool types of terrain out here. So I'm really kind of combining both my geometric one-point perspective space with, maybe it's Mars, with my organic space. All right. Now, what do? Well, let's add some peoples. All right, so maybe your superhero or your character is going to be here. All right. I'm going to assume, since he's super close, I'm not going to have to draw all of them, or all of him, or her, or it. Maybe it's a robot. I'm a robot that's an Aquarius, but I like to identify as a Pisces. Maybe I'm a space alien. They have one giant eye. And a sad mouth. Because he can tell that his shark has gone to the great beyond. Now, if he's there, can't see through him because he's closest. That's the overlapping rule, right? I could do another one here. Kind of just leaning around the corner. See how good I am about not having to draw the whole picture? That's a certain amount of laziness. That thing's a little long. That's alright, that arm's a little long too. What's he got? He's carrying a bag. And he's carrying a picnic basket. I have no idea where this drawing is going. I have to admit it. I guess in the desert they like to picnic indoors. Eat with their pet shark who's passed into the great beyond. It's a remembrance thing. Once again, another guy with a single eye. Oh no, our shark. Alright. And lastly, I'll have a guy out here. Now, I said I was going to do something with my door and the vanishing point, so I will. Alright. I will connect up this chunk of the door to the vanishing point. Just like I did on this door, I made it look like it went in. This door is going to look like it is opening too. And then I can put a guy back here. Now, as you notice, as I get closer to the vanishing point, my people become way smaller because they are farther away. So in this picture, such as it is, I got one character, two character, three character. You could count the shark as a character, and I can add whatever other details I want. If I want to come back and make these mountains very textural, I can do that. I can imply that the sun is starting to set somewhere off here by making the left side of each one of these columns darker. Alright. I might want to keep that a consistent thing throughout my entire drawing, but maybe I don't. Maybe the inside lights can behave differently. I'm not seeing any inside light. This is kind of why sometimes it's easier to draw off a picture, because you can think, well, light's coming this way. Well, there's a wall blocking it. Well, that wall would block the light. Why is this guy in this hallway? Is that hallway lit? Should that guy have heavy shadows or light shadows? You get to play God in this, with the fact that you decide if one-eyed people exist, if sharks can be in swimming pools, and how light behaves. It's easier for your viewer to see light behave in a way that they're familiar with. Because believe it or not, even though you haven't been studying it your whole life, how light behaves, you are aware of it, at least on a subconscious and conscious level. All right, so that's what I'm going to have you guys do. We are going to do a 1-point perspective. Hope I don't have that much camera shake there. Of a room, and you're going to fill it with 3 characters. You could be 3 different characters from your story, from your comic idea, or it could be your character 3 times, different ages of their life. Maybe you have them as the baby character. Maybe you have them as the regular grown-up character. Maybe you have them as the old character. That would be kind of fun. All right. So whatever you're gonna do, you got to make your room. You don't have to put this on here, but like I said, I was kind of bummed out by that huge amount of space. Really, what is a little more than almost 1/2 of my paper that didn't have anything. And I think I solved it pretty good. I mean, there's still other things I can do in here. I could put clouds. All right. Big floaty clouds. And then I'll have you guys shade this sucker in, and then you can photograph it and turn it in for credit. All right, sound good? Sound good. All right, guys. Until next time we meet, have a great day. Stay out of trouble. Can't stay out of trouble, don't get caught.